Handheld gaming PCs have achieved over 6 million sales, with the Steam Deck making up more than half of these figures. EA has recently released the source code for Command & Conquer, Red Alert, Renegade, and Generals. The head of handheld gaming PCs have achieved over 6 million sales, with the Steam Deck making up more than half of these figures. EA has recently released the source code for Command & Conquer, Red Alert, Renegade, and Generals. The head of Pokémon is optimistic that the series will continue for another 50 to 100 years, and the Pokémon Champions game has been announced. This new battle-centric title will be available on the Nintendo Switch and mobile platforms.
Research indicates that individuals favor AI chatbots for conversations about embarrassing health matters, yet they prefer humans when expressing anger. Axios notes that NVIDIA causes significant concern in Silicon Valley every 3 months. Y Combinator withdraws backing from an AI startup following a video showing the boss shouting at a human employee, referring to him as number 17.
The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, has reported a significant increase in Iran's inventory of uranium that is close to being suitable for nuclear weapons. Meanwhile, New Zealand has announced that China has expressed willingness to address the concerns raised about its recent military exercises. Just 2 days prior, live fire maneuvers conducted by highly proficient Chinese warships caused unease in both New Zealand and Australia. Additionally, Israel has freed more than 600 Palestinian detainees following the return of the bodies of 4 hostages by Hamas. Romanian authorities interrogate pro-Russian presidential hopeful amid Kremlin meddling. South Korea reports that North Korea has dispatched additional soldiers to Russia.
A poster in London titled "Don't Buy a Swastika" has gained widespread attention, as an anti-Elon Musk group's advertisement featuring the slogan "From Zero to 1939 in 3 seconds" has also become popular following the German election. The Washington Post highlights that Elon Musk's extensive business ventures have been supported by $38 billion in government subsidies. Additionally, Elon Musk has expressed willingness to appear on The Daily Show after Jon Stewart's critique of Doge, provided the episode is broadcast without edits, and the show has agreed, stating, "We'd be delighted."
Kurdish leader Öcalan, while incarcerated, communicates a plea for the PKK to surrender their weapons in pursuit of peace with Turkey. A UN report demands global intervention as Nicaragua's administration intensifies its crackdown. Austrian centrist political parties have agreed to establish a government excluding the far-right faction.
The U.S. has decelerated and might have stabilized. A Pentagon memo indicates that
the USDA indicates that egg prices might rise by an additional 41% this year. Previously, last month, the increase was forecasted at 20%, and the Agriculture Department is considering importing eggs due to the soaring prices. Chile has declared an emergency following a power outage that has left the country in darkness. It has been disclosed that more than half of the nations are failing to safeguard 30% of their land and sea as part of the UN nature plans. Australia prohibits the use of Kaspersky software by government entities because it poses an unacceptable security risk. Apple unveils fresh child safety measures, such as an age verification system for applications. Microsoft identifies the hackers responsible for tools designed to circumvent generative AI guardrails, labeling the alleged credential stealing Azure abuse enterprise operators.
Meta is terminating approximately 20 employees due to leaks. Apple is attempting to lift Indonesia's iPhone ban by proposing 2 new manufacturing plants and a pioneering chip research facility. The Kia PV5 has been unveiled as an electric van targeting customers of the diesel Ford Transit. A new standard developed by the WHO and ITU seeks to reduce hearing loss among gamers, introducing H.872, safe listening for video gameplay and esports. FBI Director Kash Patel is reportedly interested in integrating the UFC with the FBI, according to sources. And it seems the UFC is not aware of discussions between Dana White and FBI head Patel. Meanwhile, Romanian prosecutors have granted Andrew Tate's request to depart Romania, and Tate, along with his brother, has arrived in Florida, where Governor DeSantis has stated they are not welcome. Additionally, the U.S. Department of Education has introduced a NDEI portal.
50,000 applicants. Recently, Trump mentioned knowing some Russian oligarchs who are very nice people, and he stated that the U.S. will offer a $5 million gold card to affluent foreigners. U.S. Fish and Wildlife is urging people to consume more invasive marsh rodents.
The Washington Post article highlights Elon Musk's response to certain Trump aides who are hesitant to strengthen the promotion of Dogecoin. Additionally, the White House has restricted access for AP, Reuters, and other media outlets to cover a Trump cabinet meeting. Furthermore, Attorney General Pamela Bondi has unveiled the initial phase of declassified Epstein files, which reportedly feature a new contact list for Jeffrey Epstein that includes Alec Baldwin, Michael Jackson, Mick Jagger, and the mother of RFK Jr. Jeff Bezos prohibits Washington Post opinion writers from criticizing free speech and free markets. This has been described as, Jeff Bezos declares Washington Post opinions will solely praise capitalism's virtues. Elon Musk claims the FAA's air traffic control system upgrade is inadequate and suggests SpaceX should assume Verizon's contract. It has been noted that FAA reportedly considering Verizon contract for Musk's Starlink, sources indicate. The Washington Post states that FBI examining Trump EPA allegations of fraud in $20 billion Biden grant fund.
Zendaya is set to appear in Shrek 5 as the daughter of the ogre. The new anime Lazarus, created by the mastermind behind Cowboy Bebop, has released a stylish trailer.
$0.5 billion valuation, reporting a $1.4 trillion increase in payment volumes for 2024. India's Reliance promotes brain mapping to attract IPL advertisers following its merger with Disney.
Apple has launched an 8-hour soundtrack loop on YouTube, featuring an exclusive Odessa set tailored for maintaining focus throughout an innie's workday. Additionally, YouTube has announced that it now boasts over 1 billion monthly viewers of podcast content. Meanwhile, Gracenote has noted a substantial rise in sports content available on subscription video on demand, SVOD.
U.S. soldier connected to AT&T breach allegedly reached out to spy agency. Celebrite halts services in Serbia following allegations that police utilized its technology to install spyware. U.S. intelligence chief reportedly not informed about UK's clandestine Apple data request, while the Biden Justice Department minimized the UK's demand for an Apple backdoor, and U.S. intelligence supports Apple against UK encryption backdoor demands.
In the United States, a group of Republican lawmakers has introduced a bill proposing to feature Donald Trump's image on a $250 bill. Additionally, the Social Security Administration is considering a reduction of up to 50% in its workforce. Furthermore, federal agencies have been given a deadline to submit plans for relocating their offices outside the Washington, D.C. area. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, has decided to terminate its legal action against Capital One, which had claimed the company caused customers to lose $2 billion in interest. Additionally, the CFPB is discontinuing its enforcement actions against Capital One, Rocket Homes, and other entities. Meanwhile, billionaire Justin Sun has received a temporary relief as the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has halted its fraud case against him, with discussions underway between the SEC and the Tron founder to potentially resolve the civil fraud case. Furthermore, the SEC has stated that the majority of meme coins are not considered securities and are therefore not subject to securities regulations.
President Trump announced plans to impose 25% tariffs on European Union goods, arguing that the EU was established to disadvantage the United States in trade dealings. As tensions rise over tariff threats from Trump, Mexico has extradited several high-profile drug cartel leaders, including Rafael Caro Quintero, to the United States. This move is viewed as an attempt to ease trade tensions with the U.S. Trump indicated that the United States and the United Kingdom have the potential to negotiate a genuine trade deal that could be established without the need for tariffs, signaling positive diplomatic relations between the two nations.
BP announces a significant multi-billion-dollar agreement to modernize Iraq's oil fields. The worldwide market for combustion engine vehicles has reached its highest point. Trump revokes Chevron's oil license for Venezuela due to insufficient electoral reforms.
Mongolia to host next UN conference on sustainable land management. U.S. terminates funding for polio, HIV, malaria and nutrition programs around the world. Commercial lunar lander Athena heading to the moon with a drill, rover and rocket-powered hopper to search for ice.
DR Congo, and who are examining a cluster of mysterious illnesses, with the death toll now at 60. A Texas child, who lacked vaccination, has succumbed to measles, marking the first such death in the U.S. in 10 years. RFK Jr. claims measles outbreaks are not unusual in the U.S., but doctors disagree. Research indicates that extreme heat might
Anthropic has introduced the inaugural hybrid reasoning AI model globally. Satya Nadella remarks that AI has not yet developed an application with the same transformative impact as email and Excel combined. NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, states that AI now requires 100 times more computational power compared to when ChatGPT was first launched.
Lilly intends to allocate $27 billion to establish new manufacturing facilities in the United States amid Trump's potential imposition of pharmaceutical tariffs. HP aims to produce 90% of its North American goods outside China by the end of October. China's advanced semiconductors are projected to constitute 28% of global production, leading to an oversupply situation. Western companies voice apprehensions about their continued existence.
Estonia introduces a new AI initiative in collaboration with OpenAI to implement chatbots in educational institutions. According to the Wall Street Journal, Microsoft advises President Trump to revise restrictions on AI chip exports. DeepSeek provides a 75% discount on its reasoning model, with a new R2 model set to be released before the month of May. Putin commends Trump administration. Initial contact brings hope, officials state, as Russia views discussions with the U.S. as a chance to rejuvenate its espionage networks. South Korea reports that North Korea is increasing its troop deployment to Russia. Russian and U.S. diplomats convene in Istanbul to deliberate on the restoration of embassy operations.
Aleph Aeronautics' electric flying car successfully completes a vertical takeoff in California. Waymo reaches 200,000 paid trips weekly, surpassing Tesla's efforts. Tesla targets Waymo and Uber in its California ride-hail initiative. Tamil Nadu could be the origin of the Iron Age, according to a study. A unique fresco found in Pompeii depicts a woman who defies male dominance by dancing freely, hunting, and consuming raw meat in the mountains. Tokyo is implementing a 4-day workweek in a last-ditch effort to help Japan lose its undesirable label of world's oldest population, as the country experiences its lowest birth rate in 125 years.
Americans report that their income does not keep pace with inflation, according to a poll. Chelsea's 2024 squad is the most expensive in UEFA history. A study reveals a significant connection between illegal drug use and homelessness, highlighting the unmet need for treatment.
Illicit crypto volume in 2024 reached an unprecedented $40 billion, Chainalysis report. Hackers of Bybit transferred more than half of the stolen Ethereum to Bitcoin, primarily utilizing Thorchain. According to sources, crypto trading platform BitMEX is seeking a purchaser.
TikTok and YouTube successfully defend against a lawsuit regarding choking challenge videos. Mozilla updates Firefox terms of service, removing the commitment not to sell user data. Microsoft is allegedly discontinuing Skype after 14 years of inattention.
The Philippines has apprehended individuals suspected of being Chinese spies, who were allegedly attempting to infiltrate the office of President Marcos. According to a report by Reuters, these suspected spies were involved in offering bribes to local city officials and police officers in the form of cash and motorbikes. Meanwhile, China's defense ministry has issued a stern warning to Taiwan, stating that they will eventually capture Taiwan, regardless of the time it takes. In response, Taiwan has cautioned China that repeating the errors of World War II will result in their defeat. Additionally, former U.S. President Donald Trump has accepted an invitation from the King for what is described as an unprecedented second state visit. During this period, Trump has also expressed his support for the Chagos deal to British Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
In the U.S., fake ICE agents terrorized California businesses for social media stardom, police say. Fake captain boards $8 million fishing boat and convinces crew to set sail, Washington cops say. Elon Musk's Starlink is keeping modern slavery compounds online. For months ago, it has been reported that Myanmar's sweeping internet blackouts drive rebels, medics, scammers to satellite service.
A mysterious illness in Congo has resulted in the deaths of over 50 individuals, including children who consumed a bat. Kennedy Jr. has retracted his previous statement, now declaring the U.S. measles outbreak a top priority for the health department, while a Texas official has issued a warning against measles parties in response to the escalating situation. According to a survey, 34% of women in Hong Kong have experienced sexual harassment at work, yet only a small number have taken any action. Russia claims to have thwarted a Ukrainian assassination attempt on a bishop associated with Putin. Hungary's Orbán advocates for direct negotiations with Russia and disagrees with the EU summit's declaration. A reporter from Russian state media managed to enter the Oval Office during the Trump-Zelensky meeting.
CNN indicates that U.S. intelligence suggests Russia and China are making efforts to enlist dissatisfied federal employees, according to sources. With Trump becoming more favorable towards Putin, the U.S. ceases offensive cyber activities against Moscow, and the record notes that Hegseth instructs Cyber Command to halt on Russia planning. Donald Trump compares the UK directive against Apple to Chinese surveillance.
In the United States, the unsold completed inventory of homebuilders has reached its highest point since the year 2009. The concept of micro-retirement is gaining popularity among Gen Z, offering a new perspective on career breaks. Amazon is preparing for a worldwide expansion of its haul service, positioning it as a competitor to Temu. In the United States, employees of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are now barred from collaborating with World Health Organization staff on research papers. Additionally, President Trump has issued an executive order declaring English as the official language of the United States. Furthermore, he has directed an investigation into claims of illegal lumber dumping within the U.S. market.
Razzie Awards criticize Madam Web for Worst Picture and other disappointments. Joker sequel and Unfrosted included. Coppola expresses excitement for Director Award. NBCU's Cesar Conde announces development of a mobile-first premium news platform for a fourth-quarter launch. Soccer rule update. A corner kick is granted if the goalkeeper retains the ball for over 8 seconds.
The origins of the universe's expansion. A new theory proposes that star mergers generate the universe's most energetic particles. Additionally, Chinese scientists are working on a Mars drone capable of both rolling and flying on the red planet.
BP announces a significant multi-billion-dollar agreement to modernize Iraq's oil fields. The worldwide market for combustion engine vehicles has reached its highest point. Trump revokes Chevron's oil license for Venezuela due to insufficient electoral reforms.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend mocks Zelensky's clothes during chaotic Trump meeting. Trump tells Zelensky you're gambling with World War III, but says he can return to White House when he's ready for peace. Starmer hugs Zelensky ahead of crisis talks at number 10. Jamaican government called to completely decolonize by introducing a bill to missile test fires.
Leaders to refrain from traveling to the U.S. due to security concerns. In South Korea, the National Intelligence Service stresses security when utilizing the DeepSeek service. Additionally, China unexpectedly replaces its tech minister, who was instrumental in advancing AI and chip initiatives.
FBI gives back items taken from Mar-a-Lago to Trump, according to the White House. Nobel laureates suggest nominating Trump for the Peace Prize if he successfully rescues all hostages. 2 weeks ago, South Africans ridiculed Trump's idea to welcome white Afrikaners as refugees, which sparked a political controversy in South Africa regarding his offer of asylum to Afrikaners.
Fendi marks its centennial with a grand runway show at its newly established headquarters in Milan. LEGO officially reveals Bluey sets at the Toy Fair 2025. Honda partners with Pokémon to design a real-life Karaden motorcycle.
According to reports, only 3 of NVIDIA's clients contributed to over 30% of its revenue last year. NVIDIA announced a record Q4 revenue of $39.3 billion and a total full-year revenue of $130.5 billion for fiscal 2025. Meanwhile, Alibaba has introduced a RISC-V processor aimed at enhancing its AI capabilities. Chess grandmaster Carlsen admitted that he cannot defeat his phone in chess and explained his reluctance to play against engines, stating, "They make me feel stupid."
Sergey Brin believes that achieving artificial general intelligence, AGI, is possible if Google employees dedicate 60 hours each week to their work. DeepSeek has disclosed that the theoretical margin for its AI models is an impressive 545%. OpenAI has acknowledged that its latest model continues to experience hallucinations over a third of the time.
Cockatoos enjoy noodles with blueberry yogurt, marking the first instance of non-primate food flavoring behavior. An anti-aging pill for dogs has been approved by the FDA as effective. Researchers have discovered a genetic connection between Attila's Huns and the Xiongnu Empire, which opposed Han China. Consuming red meat is linked to a higher likelihood of developing dementia and experiencing cognitive decline. The internal biological clock significantly influences teenagers' tendency to eat later in the day. A wildfire in Japan has consumed the largest area in more than 3 decades as the fire continues to spread.
The Wall Street Journal has disclosed that NFL teams have been collecting comprehensive consumer information without providing the customary notifications or options for individuals to opt out. Additionally, TikTok has increased its investment plans in Thailand to a total of $8.8 billion. Furthermore, Intel has postponed the construction of its $28 billion chip factories in Ohio until the year 2030.
During a tense meeting in the Oval Office, Trump expressed dissatisfaction with Zelensky's demeanor and mannerisms, leading to a confrontation. Consequently, Zelensky departed the White House without finalizing a minerals agreement following the heated exchange. Trump concluded the discussion by accusing Zelensky of not being prepared for peace. Zelensky later commented that the disagreement with Trump was detrimental to both parties, although he declined to offer an apology. Additionally, Zelensky insisted on receiving security assurances after the meeting with Trump turned sour. In a related development, a Norwegian company declined to supply fuel to U.S. warships in response to Trump's perceived disrespect towards Zelensky.
IBM closes its China research division following layoffs and a drop in revenue. Google's latest ambitious project, Tara, aims to provide internet by transmitting lasers through the atmosphere, now enhanced with small 13mm photonic chips positioned 1 kilometer apart. China's Kung Fu robot has been made available as open source.
Musk's Doge leads to the dismissal of a federal tech team responsible for creating a free tax filing site. As the General Services Administration reduces its tech unit, employees report that the Trump administration and Musk's Doge plan to terminate almost all CFPB staff and gradually close the agency. Elon Musk describes Social Security as the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Trump, often referred to as America's first crypto president, is set to organize a summit focused on cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, in the United States, Bitcoin reserve bills are experiencing rapid failures across various states. Additionally, the CEO of Bank of America has announced plans to introduce a stablecoin once it becomes legally permissible.
China requires regulatory approvals for updates to autonomous driving software. Tesla is requesting approval for a ride-hailing service in California, indicating a change as the electric vehicle market slows down. Vietnam plans to establish one chip fabrication facility by 2030, with the semiconductor industry's revenue projected to reach $25 billion.
Teleperformance implements AI to alter staff accents. According to Bloomberg, con artists are utilizing generative AI to enhance counterfeit identities for illegal activities. Pinterest is set to introduce more clear AI labels on images.
On military operations, increasing the scope of potential targets. The Pentagon deploys up to 3,000 troops and Stryker combat vehicles to the border. Israel supports the U.S. proposal for a temporary ceasefire in Gaza during Ramadan and Passover, and halts aid shipments to Gaza until Hamas agrees to the U.S. ceasefire extension.
Trump criticizes Zelensky for stating that the conclusion of the Russia war remains extremely distant. Starmer reveals a coalition of the willing to ensure Ukraine's peace. Zelensky mentions the potential to mend relations with the U.S. and finalize a minerals agreement.
The United Kingdom and France are set to develop a peace plan for Ukraine aimed at Donald Trump, according to Starmer. Meanwhile, the European Union is expressing concerns about the absence of security assurances from Trump for Ukraine. Additionally, the Kremlin has announced that the new arrangements in U.S. foreign policy largely align with Russia's.
Trump reveals a strategic cryptocurrency reserve featuring assets like Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, and others. Pro-Trump technology enthusiasts are furious over the president's announcement of a crypto reserve, leading to an early division, as Trump's crypto reserve faces unforeseen criticism from billionaire supporters. The Telegraph remarks that Trump has rescued the cryptocurrency market, potentially leaving the U.S. taxpayer as the primary loser.
Musk stands up for Doge and criticizes AP during a Joe Rogan interview. According to Rolling Stone, FAA officials instructed staff to secure funding for Elon Musk's Starlink. In the United States, the EPA is requesting a review of a $20 billion grant program initiated by the Biden administration.
Guinea-Bissau's leader warns of expelling ECOWAS envoys, while the bloc responds. The Taliban dismisses Trump's assertions regarding Chinese involvement at a former U.S. airfield. 3 days prior, Trump claimed Afghanistan is a major seller of U.S. military equipment, expressing his desire to reclaim the equipment left behind after the disorderly troop withdrawal in 2021. Trudeau plans to discuss with King Charles strategies for safeguarding Canada's sovereignty.
Former FIFA officials Blatter and Platini are returning to court for a new trial following their acquittal in 2022. Kroger's CEO has suddenly resigned amid an investigation into personal conduct. Bold train thieves have targeted BNSF Railway, making off with $2 million worth of Nike and other merchandise.
China's technology company, Honor, has revealed plans to invest a substantial $10 billion in the development of artificial intelligence devices. Meanwhile, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, is set to declare a massive $100 billion investment in constructing chip manufacturing facilities in the United States over the course of the next 4 years. Additionally, Reuters has reported, citing sources, that both Nvidia and Broadcom are currently in the process of testing their chips using Intel's manufacturing process.
Xiaomi plans to introduce electric vehicles worldwide in the coming years following the debut of its $73,000 premium model. Meanwhile, Abu Dhabi is developing electric sea gliders to alleviate transportation challenges. Additionally, BYD vehicles are equipped with an onboard DJI drone launch platform.
China is examining strategies to respond to the U.S. potential imposition of an additional 10% tariff, with U.S. agricultural and food products expected to be targeted, according to a source. Trump implements measures to boost lumber availability and limit wood imports. Trump asserts that Japan and China must cease devaluing their currencies, as it would be unfair to the United States. DARPA is inviting proposals for biological space structures, aligning with the U.S. military's interest in cultivating large biological formations in orbit. Researchers suggest that a protein from tardigrades could shield cancer patients from radiation side effects, and propose injecting astronauts with tardigrade RNA after discovering it prevents radiation damage. NASA has equipped the first private spacecraft destined for Venus with a heat shield.
Israeli-Palestinian film No Other Land wins Oscar for Best Documentary. Oscars 2025, Anorat dominates with 5 Academy Awards, Adrian Brody wins Best Actor for second time. Brit Awards 2025 winners list, Charlie XCX wins Artist and Album of the Year.
A harmful Python package index, PyPI, package named Autumnsilk has facilitated over 104,000 unauthorized downloads of Deezer music. A report by CrowdStrike highlights a significant increase in cyberattacks that do not involve malware and threats driven by artificial intelligence in the year 2024. Despite being made private, numerous GitHub repositories that were previously exposed can still be accessed using Copilot.
Evacuations are underway as 175 wildfires have ignited in both South and North Carolina. In Australia, residents are being advised to brace for the worst as Tropical Cyclone Alfred approaches southeast Queensland. In Spain, 80 individuals are stuck in a Tenerife supermarket because of flooding, while the country is experiencing severe flash floods, with cars being swept away and tourists being cautioned to remain indoors.
Britain is spending £180,000 per hour to shut down wind farms. There have been discussions suggesting that China might be prepared to utilize nuclear fusion for energy generation by the year 2050. Saudi Arabia's major oil company, Aramco, has reported a decrease in its annual profit and has reduced its dividend.
A groundbreaking map has uncovered vast deposits of gold hydrogen, potentially hidden under at least 30 states in the United States. Additionally, scientists suggest that primordial helium, originating from the formation of the solar system, might be trapped within Earth's core. Furthermore, researchers warn that the growing amount of falling space debris poses a rising threat to airplanes.
Analysts caution that if AI agents achieve success, the internet will go dark. The Los Angeles Times plans to show AI-generated political ratings on opinion articles. TikTok anticipates 77 billion.
The anticipated update for the new LLM Siri feature, initially planned for iOS 19, has been postponed and is now projected to be released alongside iOS in the year 2026. Meanwhile, Google is capitalizing on Siri's shortcomings by introducing Gemini widgets for iPhone users. Additionally, Deutsche Telekom and Perplexity have unveiled a new AI phone that is priced at less than $1,000.
During China's Two Sessions 2025, the top advisory body anticipates that talent and technology will be key drivers of the country's growth. 2 weeks prior, it was reported that China is experiencing a talent shortage as AI jobs, particularly those involving DeepSeek, are rapidly increasing. Researchers were taken aback to discover that less educated regions are adopting AI writing tools more quickly than expected. Additionally, the Chinese humanoid robotics company Ubitech has accomplished the world's first multi-robot collaborative training.
BYD secures up to $5 billion in its largest funding round after going public, focusing on electric vehicle research and global expansion. Foxconn is setting up manufacturing facilities in the United States and Mexico to brace for possible 25% tariffs, while its mega AI plant is expected to be operational within a year, undeterred by Trump's tariffs. Amazon Web Services plans to allocate $8.2 billion to Maharashtra, enhancing India's cloud computing market.
In the United States, the Air Force has declared that its new unmanned fighter jets will be prepared for flight this summer. Additionally, the USAF has identified the first uncrewed fighter prototypes as YFQ-42A and YFQ-44A. The European Commission is suggesting a collaborative borrowing approach as a component of its €800 billion defense strategy. Recently, the German Defense Ministry has reached out to a startup to construct a hypersonic spaceplane. With a focus on the Pacific region, Lockheed has introduced an affordable cruise missile priced at $150,000.
Meanwhile, the UK is investigating TikTok and Reddit regarding their handling of children's personal data. Additionally, Melania Trump expresses her sadness over witnessing teenagers deal with the consequences of revenge porn.
Mozilla revises Firefox's terms of service following user complaints. Scientists developed the tiniest shooting video game utilizing nanoscale technology. Insurance companies now declare 20% of crashed cars as total losses, with advanced driver assistance systems, ADAS, partially responsible.
Warner Bros. Discovery is set to introduce Max in Turkey on April 15, with intentions to increase the production of Turkish originals. Meanwhile, YouTube is reportedly developing a redesign similar to Netflix to compete with Amazon Prime Video. Additionally, France's Canal Plus Group has agreed with local guilds to invest a minimum of $503 million in French and European films over the next 3 years.
Singapore is investigating potential fraud in the sale of NVIDIA chips under U.S. control. The Wall Street Journal notes that Chinese buyers are purchasing NVIDIA's latest AI chips, despite U.S. restrictions. Meanwhile, Reuters indicates that Honda will manufacture the next Civic in Indiana instead of Mexico, influenced by U.S. tariffs, according to sources. Additionally, China has imposed tariffs on U.S. agricultural.
Vance describes the UK as a random country that hasn't engaged in warfare for 40 years, criticizing Starmer's peace plan by stating that deploying 20,000 troops from some random country won't achieve peace. He asserts that the US's economic involvement in Ukraine is the most reliable assurance of its security. Meanwhile, a former Pyongyang soldier informs ABC News that families of captured North Korean troops will be executed. Additionally, the EU plans to assist Ukraine in replacing Musk's Starlink. DeepSeek AI introduces the Fireflyer file system, 3FS, a high-performance distributed file system aimed at tackling the challenges associated with AI training and inference workloads. Google unveils SpeciesNet, an AI model developed for the purpose of identifying wildlife. Researchers have crafted the world's first chip capable of safeguarding data against quantum computing attacks.
Bowel cancer rates are increasing among young adults. Gen Z is more supportive of marriage compared to millennials and engages in less casual sex. A juice fast lasting only 3 days might be causing more harm than good.
Zelensky labels Oval Office meeting as unfortunate and expresses willingness to negotiate peace. Zelensky proposes a partial truce to Putin for the first time to halt air and sea assaults. Germany's MERS secures a debt agreement to finance defense and infrastructure. The U.S. Supreme Court has denied the Trump administration's attempt to evade paying USAID contractors, mandating that USAID disburse approximately $2 billion to fulfill these contracts. Meanwhile, Trump has unexpectedly reversed his order to dismiss thousands of federal employees, with the administration now revising its directive to target only probationary employees.
The Congressional Budget Office (CBO) has determined that the GOP must reduce Medicaid or Medicare to meet their budget objectives. A memo reportedly indicates that 83,000 VA employees are scheduled to be terminated this year by Musk's DOGE. Recently, a Trump agency reversed its decision, removing 443 sites from the market. This follows the Trump administration's previous move to make hundreds of federal properties available for sale, as the GSA prepared to sell over 400 federal properties. Notable among these are the FBI and Red Cross headquarters, which are among more than 440 federal buildings listed for potential sale by the Trump administration. French university to support American scientists concerned about Trump's censorship, amid Trump's threats to withhold federal funds from schools permitting illegal protests. Authorities report arson of a dozen Teslas at a French dealership. New research indicates that memes facilitate the spread of conspiracy theories by connecting online groups.
China has greater flexibility in fiscal policy due to global uncertainties, according to the finance minister. HSBC marks 160 years in Hong Kong with an exhibition showcasing its history and innovation. Chinese Navy ships complete their Australian tour with a sail near a base hosting a U.S. submarine, prompting comments that Chinese warships in the Tasman Sea highlight the flaws of AUKUS. Meanwhile, American warships are deployed to the South Pacific Ocean, as the Chinese Navy navigates around Australia.
Los Angeles County has filed a lawsuit alleging that equipment from a Southern California utility was responsible for igniting the fatal Eaton fire. In another development, the U.S. Supreme Court has imposed stricter regulations on the Environmental Protection Agency's ability to monitor sewage discharges. Additionally, The Guardian has published a report suggesting that major egg companies in the U.S. might be exploiting avian flu to increase egg prices, offering them for sale at $5 a dozen.
In the United States, HHS Secretary RFK Jr. advises parents to think about getting the measles vaccine. A vaccine pill for norovirus appears promising in combating the winter vomiting virus. For the first time, female doctors in the UK surpassed their male counterparts in numbers.
LeBron James is set to be the first player to achieve a total of 50,000 points in both the NBA regular season and playoffs. A Cheeto shaped like Pokemon was auctioned for $88,000. The smallest handmade sculpture ever created is a Lego brick that is the size of a blood cell.
The island belongs to them, while Trump expresses his intention to acquire the territory, promising the people of Greenland that they will become wealthy. Meanwhile, China's premier declares the country's commitment to advancing the reunification with Taiwan. Additionally, Vance visits the Mexico border and assures that the U.S. will not invade Mexico.
Apple initiates legal proceedings in the UK concerning data privacy issues. In the United States, Utah is the first state to enact an App Store age verification law. The legal battle between Musk and OpenAI is scheduled for a swift trial this year, but the
Serbian parliament descends into disorder as opposition members throw smoke bombs and flares. Romania apprehends 6 individuals suspected of conspiring to overthrow the government with Russian assistance. Iran and Turkey recall their ambassadors after a disagreement over Turkey's caution about Syria, with Turkey and Iran airing their complaints following Turkey's criticism of Iran.
Chinese architect Liu Jiaquan is awarded the 2025 Pritzker Architecture Prize. A researcher at Oxford University discovers an undiscovered version of a Shakespeare sonnet. Harper is set to release a compilation of stories and essays by Harper Lee. Danish archaeologists have unearthed a wooden circle dating back 4,000 years, reminiscent of Stonehenge. In Karnak, Egypt, a treasure-laden pottery vessel from 2,600 years ago has been found. Additionally, archaeologists have identified the earliest knives. Crafted from bone approximately 1.5 million years ago. LA Times reportedly removes new AI tool from story after it downplayed KKK. As just a day ago, it only took a day for LA Times' new AI tool to sympathize with the KKK. Pioneers behind reinforcement learning win Turing Award. And Turing Award winners caution against unsafe deployment of AI models. Celebrite is utilizing AI to summarize chat logs and audio from seized mobile phones.
The UK has activated the largest battery in Europe, providing grid stability services. ADNOC and OMV are planning to merge their petrochemical companies, forming a $60 billion entity. According to Reuters, the U.S. is reportedly pulling out of a plan to assist major polluters in transitioning away from coal, as per sources. Trump warns of higher tariffs if Canada responds. Trudeau calls tariffs very dumb, claims Trump aims to harm the Canadian economy, and suggests Trump's objective in the trade war is to annex Canada. Mexico announces it will apply retaliatory tariffs on the U.S., with specifics to be released on Sunday. A Chinese credit ratings agency reduces Thailand's rating due to crime scandals and economic outlook.
Zero and Delta join forces to innovate air travel by developing a groundbreaking aircraft that is 50% more fuel efficient for both domestic and international journeys. China is addressing the stealth code and cracks of the F-22 using a 3,000-year-old silk weaving.
Wall Street Journal reports that Department of Commerce to overhaul Internet for All. The Street Journal reports that Department of Commerce to overhaul Internet for All the plan, expanding Starlink funding prospects. 7 days ago it has been reported as Musk's Starlink pushed by GOP for $42 billion broadband build-out.
Are more similar than previously believed. Cortical Labs introduces the world's first synthetic biological intelligence, operating on living human cells, marking the launch of the first commercial biocomputer utilizing human brain cells.
Trump establishes a new White House office for shipbuilding in response to China's growing maritime influence. For his deal-making skills, is anticipated to head the new U.S. sovereign wealth fund, as indicated by sources. In the United States, the Supreme Court appears poised to dismiss Mexico's $10 billion lawsuit targeting U.S. gun manufacturers.
Coinbase aims to expand in the U.S. market by launching an initiative focused on tokenized securities. Meanwhile, Yuga Labs, the creator of Bored Ape, announced that the SEC is concluding its investigation, marking a significant victory for the NFT sector and leading to a 94% drop in Pump.Fund's trading volume as the memecoin craze subsides. Additionally, the CFPB has dismissed its Zelle fraud reimbursement case against JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, as Trump-era agencies continue to drop numerous Biden-era cases targeting crypto and other companies.
In the United States, the Justice Department has filed charges against 12 Chinese contract hackers and law enforcement officers involved in worldwide computer intrusion campaigns, part of a hacker-for-hire ecosystem including the APT27 group. The Silk Typhoon hackers are now focusing on IT supply chains to infiltrate networks, as Microsoft has issued warnings about Chinese hackers monitoring cloud technology. In India, starting the financial year 2026-27, income tax officers will have the ability to access email and social media accounts in certain situations.
Japanese automobile manufacturers are in a fierce competition to recruit software engineers as they advance in electric vehicle and autonomous driving technologies. Meanwhile, Hyundai has partnered with Avride, a spin-off from Yandex, to work on the development of Robot Axis. Additionally, NPC Deputy Liu Hanyuan has stated that China might be able to cease importing oil from other nations within the next 2 decades.
Possibility of going public. Meanwhile, Meta is introducing its facial recognition technology, designed to combat scams, to the United Kingdom and Europe. Additionally, Dig is set to make a return, with its co-founder Rose and Reddit Sahanian investing in a revival powered by artificial intelligence.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup final will feature a halftime show similar to the Super Bowl, with Coldplay involved in the planning, according to Gianni Infantino. Netflix's content spending is projected to reach $18 billion in 2025, and its CFO states that this figure is not anywhere near a ceiling. DAZN and TNT Sport have formed a broadcast partnership for the FIFA Club World Cup 2025 in the United States. Macron declares that France must confront the Russian threat independently of the US. The Financial Times suggests that Europe needs to reduce its welfare state to develop a warfare state. The EU proposes a $158 billion fund to increase military spending following the US suspension of Ukraine aid.
Aspirin and ibuprofen may offer protection against dementia, according to a recent study. A woman with Down syndrome experienced Alzheimer's without dementia in an unexpected case. Engaging in muscle-strengthening exercises might assist older adults in addressing insomnia.
Apple is reportedly planning to release a foldable iPhone in 2026, priced at $2,500, and equipped with AI features. Meanwhile, Volkswagen has introduced its most affordable electric vehicle, which is the first to utilize Rivian software. Additionally, Microsoft is developing new in-house AI models and is testing DeepSeek and Meta's technologies in its Copilot application.
A call between Trump and Trudeau following the tariff announcement became heated, reportedly involving profanity. Trudeau anticipates a trade war between Canada and the US for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, Trump has paused most tariffs on Mexico as Canada seeks a resolution. Additionally, Trump has delayed some tariffs on Mexico and Canada for a period of 1 month. In response, China has imposed new tariffs on Canadian agriculture, targeting Canada indirectly in retaliation against Trump.
California Governor Gavin Newsom diverges from Democratic Party stance on transgender athletes' participation, stating that permitting trans athletes in women's sports is profoundly unjust. The Pentagon labels a WW-2 plane that dropped an atomic bomb on Japan as woke, as part of a DEI initiative that has identified 26,000 images, including those of war heroes and military milestones, for potential removal. An EU court imposes fines on 5 nations for insufficient whistleblower protection.
Russia, Iran, China, and North Korea's bond poses a global problem, according to Trump's envoy. China advocates for peaceful coexistence with the U.S. despite existing differences. Peaceful coexistence with the U.S. despite existing differences. The Philippines plans to sign a troops agreement with Canada as their defense relationship strengthens.
In the United States, a Guatemalan national has been apprehended, following an indictment that accuses him of orchestrating one of the most extensive human smuggling operations in the country. Approximately 20,000 individuals have been smuggled from Guatemala into the U.S. and subsequently transported across various states. Additionally, a $10 million reward is being offered for the capture of a former Olympic snowboarder, who is now suspected of becoming an alleged drug lord. Furthermore, the FBI has taken into custody a soldier who is accused of selling intelligence belonging to the United States Army to China.
Demand, which was met by a rise in coal generation. Wells Fargo has abandoned its net zero target as financial institutions adjust their sustainability approaches. Turtles are altering their nesting behaviors due to climate change.
Trump announces a swift route to U.S. citizenship for South African farmers following the suspension of foreign aid. Bosnian officials initiate a legal challenge against separatist Bosnian Serb laws amid escalating tensions, with the Bosnian Serb region recently blocking central state authorities in a move towards independence. The EU plans to strengthen its presence in Bosnia due to ongoing government tensions with the Serb entity. Sudan submits a case to the UN court, accusing the UAE of violating the Genocide Convention by financially supporting rebels.
40% of Britons have not read any books in the past year. Reading and math skills enhance cognitive abilities and slow brain aging in seniors. Parents permitting drinking are linked to adolescents engaging in heavy alcohol consumption.
Spain's government intends to expedite defense expenditures to achieve 2% of GDP by 2029. Concerned about Trump's policies, Poland's premier suggests exploring nuclear options, while Tusk envisions extensive military training for all adult males to enhance reserves. According to The Telegraph, Trump might move U.S. troops from Germany to Hungary. A study indicates that scheduling surgery right before the weekend is generally not a good idea. A South Korean team has created an Iron Man robot designed to assist paraplegics in walking. In the United Kingdom, non-browning bananas have been approved for a March release. 1 year ago, the Philippines approved gene-edited bananas aimed at reducing food waste.
Stanford Medicine research suggests that a naturally occurring molecule matches Ozempic in weight loss while avoiding side effects. Individuals suffering from long COVID experience restoration of their sense of smell and taste through innovative surgical procedures. A study reveals that not all generics are the same, highlighting a 54% increased risk associated with Indian-produced medications.
Tesla has lost $700 billion in value, which was previously attributed to a Trump bump, as its global sales have decreased. Consequently, Elon Musk's personal wealth has dropped by $121 billion due to the decline in Tesla's stock prices, according to a recent report. In an effort to promote transparency regarding Doge, The Intercept has released Musk's government emails. Additionally, U.S. Marshals were involved in escorting the Doge team into an African aid agency, leading to a lawsuit against Elon Musk after he used the Marshals to take control of the agency. Just 2 days ago, African aid workers prevented Doge staff from entering their small office to terminate employees.
Gallup has revealed that fewer than half of the people in the United States now express sympathy for Israelis. Meanwhile, Axios has reported that Israel expressed its disapproval of the secretive discussions between the United States and Hamas during a tense telephone conversation. Additionally, in the context of the Iran nuclear deal negotiations, Donald Trump has sent a letter to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, proposing negotiations regarding the nuclear deal.
Moscow-based disinformation network Pravda, linked to Portal Combat, reportedly inserting false narratives into AI models. Iranian hacker group Cotton Sandstorm is incorporating AI into cyber influence operations. Authorities issue warnings as online scammers exploit deepfake AI-generated images of Pashinyan. In the United States, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency (OCC) has provided clarification regarding the authority of national banks and federal savings associations to participate in specific cryptocurrency activities. These activities include crypto asset custody, certain stablecoin operations, and joining independent node verification networks like distributed ledgers. The OCC has confirmed that such involvement is permissible for these financial institutions. Meanwhile, the U.S. Housing and Urban Development Agency (HUD) is contemplating the launch of a cryptocurrency experiment. This initiative could explore new ways to utilize digital assets within the housing sector. Additionally, the White House has announced the creation of a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a United States digital asset stockpile. This move is part of a broader strategy to manage and leverage digital assets for the benefit of the nation. Donald Trump Jr. has firmly rejected rumors of a presidential campaign, delivering a statement laced with expletives. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden has requested the dismissal of a lawsuit concerning his laptop, citing financial difficulties. Additionally, the Trump Organization has filed a lawsuit against Capital One for closing its bank accounts 4 years prior.
Ukraine opposition leaders have confirmed discussions with the U.S., but they deny any plans to remove Zelensky. 2 days ago, Politico mentioned that top Trump allies were engaging in secret meetings with Zelensky's Ukrainian adversaries. Meanwhile, France is offering military intelligence to Ukraine as the U.S. takes a step back. Ukraine's UK ambassador claims that Trump's actions in the U.S. are dismantling the world order. Additionally, Zelensky's advisor, Mikhailo Podolyak, expressed that he believes Trump will achieve what previous U.S. administrations could not with Russia.
A meteorite impact crater, estimated to be 3.5 billion years old, has been found in the Pilbara region of Australia. Research on fossils indicates that palm trees were once abundant in subarctic areas of Canada. An employee at a major DVD company is facing charges for stealing and selling pre-release commercial DVDs intended for blockbuster films.
FIA and Formula One have given the green light for Cadillac to join the competition in 2026. President Donald J. Trump has set up a White House task force specifically for the FIFA World Cup 2026. Hollywood studios are resuming their advertising purchases on X, coinciding with Elon Musk's growing political influence.
In the United States, Treasury Secretary Bessent emphasizes that the American dream is not centered around having access to inexpensive goods. Meanwhile, Fed Chair Powell states, "No hurry to reduce rates despite the volatility surrounding Trump," expressing confidence in the economy amid Trump's tariff disruptions. Additionally, Bloomberg highlights that Americans are falling behind on car payments at the highest rate in decades.
The EU refutes accusations of targeting U.S. tech companies, stating that the U.S. is also addressing monopolization. The Commission stands by its digital markets regulations amid U.S. criticism. Meanwhile, in the U.S., federal authorities have abandoned their attempt to force Google to sell its AI investments, although they continue to pursue the sale of Chrome. Additionally, Nasdaq is participating in exchanges to